So I'm out looking for hummingbirds with a good friend of mine, Gabby, who's behind the camera, and we're putting the new Canon 200 to 800 millimeter lens to the test yet again. I did a little review on the lens about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago. I'll put the link at the end of the video if you want to watch it. Anyhow, being a wildlife photographer is, well, it's really, really rewarding, but if you want to do it well, it's also really challenging. And I want to share with you the #1 tip, the singular most important tip I've ever come across insofar as improving your wildlife photography, coming up next. So I want to tell you why you should consider shooting in manual. And for me, this is something that happened many, many years ago when I was photographing bald eagles. And the spot I went to is a river with a forest background. And the eagles would swoop down to the river. The background would be this dark forest. And then after the eagles were on the ground, they would often go up into the air. And on a bright and sunny day, it would be really, really challenging, because if you leave the metering to your camera, the camera will say, well, when the eagle is in front of the forest, you need one exposure. And then when it goes up to the sky, it needs another exposure. But, and this is key, but if the light on the eagle hasn't changed, neither should anything else. If the light on the eagle, I'm going to say it again, if the light on the eagle hasn't changed, neither should anything else. Now, there are circumstances under which you do want to change your settings. For example, if it's a partially cloudy day and the sun is behind the clouds and then comes out from the cloud, now you have a change in the amount of light on your subject, and therefore you need to change your settings too. All right, so how do you do it? Well, it's not as scary as it sounds. So first thing you do, of course, is you set your camera to manual mode. Usually what I do then is I take a photo of the subject and I check my histogram to see where the light falls on the histogram. Now, what is crucial is that you expose for your subject. We're not really worried about the background because, well, that's not what your photograph is about typically in wildlife. It is about your bald eagle or your lion or whatever else it may be. So you take the exposure for the subject that you're photographing, and then you leave it. You absolutely just leave it. And now you don't have to worry about the changing light or the changing backgrounds, dark background to a really bright background, as long as the light that falls on your subject is the same. So to sum it up, shooting in manual mode is a great way to increase your keeper rate. One thing to keep in mind is that it's not a panacea for every circumstance, for every situation. Few things are in photography. If the light changes on your subject, so if your subject goes from a sunny condition into, for example, the shade, so maybe you have an elk, it's out in a field, it goes into the forest, well, now the light on the elk has changed, which means that you have to change your settings as well. But what I suggest you do is give it a try on something not super important. So maybe you have a dog you can photograph in the backyard, or some other subject you can try it out on. Do it until you get comfortable with it. Give it a try. I promise you, you won't regret it. But as I said, you're not going to use it in every circumstance, but it surely is a way to increase your keepers. Thanks for watching. Here is the link to the other video of the mini review of the 200 to 800, and I'll catch you later. See ya.